Let's talk about Highway's new play, a load board that only opens for carriers whose ELDs are plugged in. If you've ever wondered how far freight tech would go to fight fraud, and how close that gets to building an always-on surveillance economy for truckers, this is your moment. Highway, long known for strict carrier identity checks, has launched a board where identity-verified ELD-connected carriers can access freight from trusted brokers with real-time fraud checks and integrated payments. In other words, no ELD pipe, no party. Highway's pitch is simple. The industry has been bleeding from double brokering and spoofed identities. ELD data is the cure. They're not shy about it either. Highway has been touting Load Lock Plus as 100% ELD powered tracking, promising true visibility and automated vehicle assignment. That sells well to brokers burned by fraud, but it also means carriers are effectively asked to stream their movement, timing, and behavior to a private platform as the price of admission. That's not a small ask. That's a business model. If you think drivers are thrilled, take 5 minutes on the forums. Independent carriers and dispatchers have been sounding off for months that ELD connection is becoming a de facto gatekeeping tool. Reddit threads, freight brokers, and truckers forums detail the same pattern. More brokers requiring highway ELD connections to avoid double brokering, and ELD exempt or paper log operators getting locked out. That isn't hypothetical. It's a growing barrier that can reshape who gets freight and on what terms. Let's be fair, the fraud crisis is real. DAT, Truckstop, and others have spent 2 years racing to tighten verification, MFA logins, and anti-fraud tooling because the scams got ugly. Spoofed MCs, load swaps, and identity theft that wrecked margins and reputations. A trusted exchange is a catnip to any broker who's eaten a five-figure loss. But here's the catch. When private platforms become the gatekeepers of trust, the definition of legitimate work shifts from regulatory compliance to platform compliance. That puts real leverage in private hands. Highway insists it's not harvesting or selling ELD data, denying that it tracks carriers outside of specific loads or asks for login credentials. They pushed back publicly on the idea they're building a data vacuum. But the distinction matters less to drivers than the practical reality. If the system requires always-on pipes to prove you are you and to stay bookable, then the line between job qualification and constant monitoring blurs fast. Even Highway's own marketing, ELD powered tracking, tells you where this is headed. There is also a regulatory undertow most people are missing. FMCSA keeps pruning the ELD registry and reminding fleets that revoked devices make you effectively out of service after short grace windows. So in 2025, the set of acceptable ELDs is narrowing, and private load boards that require direct ELD integrations are picking winners by default among compliant devices. If your device loses approval or your provider lags on integration, your freight pipeline can evaporate. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's the mechanical reality of tying work access to live ELD feeds in a volatile compliance market. Supporters say, good, we're tired of fraud. Connect the box and prove you're legit. And there's truth there. The industry's been swindled by fake carriers and shady shell dispatchers. Identity-verified networks lower the temperature. Payments backed by credit checks and rate intelligence reduce drama on Fridays. If Highway can really cut noise, cut spam, and guarantee clean tendering and settlement, that's oxygen for small, honest carriers. That's not nothing. But listen to the other side because they're not just privacy cranks. Small carriers point out that data asymmetry is the point, not a bug. Brokers see everything: location pings, dwell patterns, ETAs, gold for price power. Carriers hand it over for trust, then negotiate rates against counterparties who might know more about their capacity and behavior than they do. Some longtime owner-operators argue that ELD data has outgrown its safety purpose and is quietly becoming a commodity, traded, analyzed, and operationalized in ways they never consented to. You can laugh that off until your rate per mile keeps getting undercut by buyers with better dashboards. There's also the exclusion problem. ELD exempt equipment, pre-2000 engines, gliders, edge case operations already struggles from access when platforms hardly require live ELD feeds. Overdrive documented owner-operators locked out when large brokers shifted onboarding to highway. If the new load board is ELD gated, those carriers must retrofit their business models or exit premium lanes. This is how anti-fraud morphs into market shaping where tech standards decide who's real enough to haul. Zoom out and you see a collision of motives. Public regulators set safety floors. Private platforms now set trust ceilings, additional hurdles not in the regs but in the marketplace. In theory, that's fine. The free market can choose stricter standards. In practice, it centralizes leverage. If Highways Exchange captures enough broker demand, declining their ELD connection won't be defiance. It will be self-sabotage. The policy question is whether a handful of intermediaries should control the on-ramp for freight in the name of safety and fraud without the guardrails that come with public oversight. Meanwhile, rivals won't stand still. Truckstop is rolling out new load matching features, and DAT has made anti-fraud upgrades part of its brand story since 2023. Expect them to flirt with deeper device-level trust signals too. If Highway gets traction, the competitive response won't be fewer integrations. It'll be more telemetry, more checks, more trusted walls. Once the industry normalizes ELD-gated freight, there's no going back to anonymity. So what should carriers do right now? First, know your device status. FMCSA has been pruning the ELD list this year. Operating on a revoked unit after the cutoff is an instant headache. Second, read every platform data use policy and integration screen. If a broker or exchange requires persistent ELD access beyond an active load, ask for the policy in writing, and for load, scope tokens only. Third, price is your data. If platforms are going to extract more certainty and visibility from you, you should extract more rate from them. Certainty has value. Don't give it away for free. Here's the bottom line. Highways ELD connected load board is either the future of clean freight or a velvet rope for the data compliant. It might be both. The fraud plague invited this cleanup. Nobody misses the scammers. But the cleanup crew is building new choke points in the supply chain and they run on your data. The question isn't whether visibility is coming, it's whether you still get a choice. Today you do. Tomorrow, when ELD-gated exchanges are the default and trust scores decide your calendar, you may not. Choose carefully what you normalize now. Because in trucking, the tools you adopt to protect yourself often become the rules you must obey. If Highway delivers on no spam freight, cleaner tendering, and faster payment, small carriers will notice. if it slides into always-on surveillance with lopsided leverage, drivers will notice that too. The best outcome is obvious. Load-scoped, consent-based ELD visibility with ironclad privacy, transparent data retention, and a premium on rates for verified performance. The worst is a private panopticon where access is conditional on streaming your livelihood. Highway says they won't cross that line. The market should hold them to it before the line moves. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support helps the channel grow, and it lets me keep bringing you more content just like this. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.